Hey,
Hello.
hey, super excited to talk to you guys. Welcome to Prompt-A-Palooza. Super excited. How many of you have ever seen me in a purple wig before? Raise your hand. Yep, me either. Never, never, never. All right, we're having a couple of people asking to take notes, record. Yes, I'm allowing that. I don't always do that, but this one is we're going to get really into the details. So people are still piling in. Please, if it's at all possible, please be on camera. Craig, I see you're working on it. Maria is my executive assistant. Good to see you, Craig. It's been a few weeks.
Good to see you too.
Maria is my executive assistant. She is going to be helping with queuing up questions and comments and frustrations. And that is what we are doing today is talking about prompting. And too often I talk to MSPs and they're kind of like, AI is garbage. And I just want to remind you, garbage in, garbage out. You know that is true. Yeah, Jeremy is like, good to see your actual face. Jeremy and Maria chat a lot to try to keep me straight. And so this is the first
Hey,
time they're
hey.
meeting like in person. Give me a second. I want to pin me so I'm big. And then we are going to jump right into this. So drop in the chat where you're joining from. We're going to keep most of you unmuted unless you have background noise because I want this to be very workshopy, very dialogue-y. If you've got things that you're struggling with, jump in and share in a minute. If you've got different ways that you would structure the prompt, jump in and share that as well. This is all about making sure that MSPs know how to use the tools that they have. All right, we're going to jump in. Any questions before we get started? Bear with me as I'm moving all of my documents around. All right. So the goal of today's call is to help you walk away with more confidence, better prompt, maybe better prompt recipes, and some real examples on how to fix things that aren't working. We are also going to play a game later on in this session called Stump the Sherpa. I'm the Sherpa. Your job is to try to stump me. I'm really good at prompting, but you might be able to stump me. Who knows? And so that's what we're going to talk about. Little bit of teaching, a lot of doing. And then if you've got things that you have struggled with, you can either drop those in the chat or you can drop the word question in the chat and Maria will queue them up, or you can just jump in and interrupt me. That is also totally fine. So I want to show you a couple or teach you a couple of reasons that prompts break, and then I'm just going to share my screen and we're just going to start playing. So sometimes I see prompts that are super vague, like write me a blog post on cybersecurity. Well, okay, what does that mean? You have to treat the AI like an unpaid intern. They are eager to please, but they haven't been trained. They just don't know what you want. And so if you give them some direction and get rid of some of the vague language, you're going to get a lot better of a response. Sometimes there's no role defined. So do you want them to act like a SEO driven specialist when they write the blog? Do you want them to act more like a direct response marketer? What do you want their tone to look like? So kind of context, tone, role. And then finally, format. Write me a LinkedIn post. Like, okay, do you want it long? You want it short? Do you want bullets? Do you want it like super long form? So just understand that if you're not getting what you want out of the AI, it's probably the result of your prompt. And understand that the name of the game with prompting is iteration. So you're going to see me ask prompts, and then I'm going to say, why didn't that give us what we needed? And that's really where you guys will shine because most of you are amazing when it comes to troubleshooting. So you're going to have to say, okay, I asked this. It really thinks that it answered my question, and it probably did. What is off about that? Does it just not sound like me? Is it boring? Is there no hook at the beginning? Is it like, oh, that's a little spicy. I didn't really want this post to be spicy. And so you're looking at that first output and diagnosing or troubleshooting what isn't working so that you can fix it. So let me go back. Let me go over to the comments to see. Okay, opt in, Asheville, Richmond. Ravi, I always forget that you're sort of my, wait, no, Sean, you're in Richmond. I don't think I remember that. Rafi, today you're in New York City, Greensboro. Cool. Maria, if you haven't already, can you see if you can pin the questions queue? If because other okay, if you can't, it's no big deal. I might have to make you, give me a second. I might have to make you a collaborator. Give me 1 second. Make co-host. Yes. All right. See if you can pin it now. If you can't, all right. Sample headline received from that prompt. Cybersecurity is great. You should use it. Unmute if you're not already unmuted, Jeremy. Tell me what you mean.
Sorry, I had to step away from the computer for a second there. Yeah, write me an article about cybersecurity. Well, that's what you're going to get.
Yes, yes, very true, very true.
Specificity.
Love it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna call, I thought I saw Scott for a brief moment. Scott, I'm gonna call on you. Good to see you. I have like a strip at the top and you had fallen off the edge. I know you've been playing with AI. Is there anything you're seeing success with, or is there anything you're struggling with? And we'll kind of jump in there.
Am I muted?
You are not. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Um, let's see. I've been playing with AI really to do our marketing, and I'm using it as a tool as opposed to developing it as a service right now. So, but for me, um, I've been able to use it to plan out social media calendar based on our industry vertical. And so now I've got like a 3 month cadence and plan that AI helped me with. And and each one is dedicated toward our verticals that we like, which are construction and manufacturing. And so it's customized to that. And it also helped me to be able to build prompted me to be able to build lead magnets and reports that go for each industry.
Okay,
So
good.
not only do I have blog posts, but I've got a report. It's written emails for me. I'm starting to develop the landing pages for it. So, I mean, I've just been overwhelmed with how cool AI has been. But I will tell you that I did have some hallucination, and because one of our areas of work is compliance. And so I think that, the whole legal aspect of that came in. And so long story short is I've had to, just watch it like a hawk, and I have to read everything. And so when we start talking about automation, my whole thing is just, guys, before you do automation with it, just make sure you read everything and make sure that it's all correct. But I've been very impressed with what I've learned.
Yeah, and so we're not going to dive too much into the automation conversation, but anytime you're building out an automation, there are probably going to be steps where there is a human involved. So where is that? Is that to check it before it gets posted? Is it to check it at the ideation phase? Don't put too much human effort in there, but because AI is still hallucinating and because you are using AI hopefully as a thought partner, not a thought leader, it might say things that are incorrect. And so where do you need to insert human checks and balances? So I like that. How many of you are using ChatGPT? Hands? Okay, cool. How many of you are using Claude? Okay, a few of you. How many of you are using Copilot and you like it? Okay, cool. And well, we're not gonna chase that rabbit. Everybody smile, you know why I said that. Okay, I want to teach you something. I'm going to be using ChatGPT. Obviously, Maria, you can see my screen, right? My ChatGPT screen.
Yes, I can.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to show you a mistake that I see some people making specifically with blogging, and then I want to show you a better way to do it. So is anybody working on a blog right now? And you can give me your topic. Otherwise, I'll make one up. Rafi, what are you working on?
So we're working on meeting the current SEC and FINRA examinations. What's the top things that are being discussed during those examinations for our financial clients?
Okay, perfect. All right, cool. You're a great blog writer. Write me a post on FINRA SEC examinations, top things that are discussed in these exams. Okay. Let's as my kid, one of my children, adult children says, let it cook. Let it cook. I don't know if you've heard that. It's the new phrase. So we're gonna let it cook for a second. I'm just waiting for this stop button to turn into a go button, and then we're gonna scroll down. So what to expect during FINRA SEC, top topics, book and record compliance, supervisory procedures and internal controls, cybersecurity data protection, best execution, advertising marketing materials, and it goes on and on and on. Okay, so we're going to let it finish because if I start typing, it'll glitch and I don't want it to glitch. But what I want to do is I want to give it a few more guardrails. So you're a great blog writer. You're a blog writer extraordinaire. But I want to say, write me and I'll probably say, okay, I am going to stop this because would you use this, Rafi, as is?
No. No,
Okay.
we would narrow it down to specifically IT and cybersecurity, for example. And then we would say, what are the top, what are the most recent things, something like that.
Financial companies as your vertical?
Yes. Specifically registered investment advisors, if you want to be particular.
All right, so I'm giving it context there. That's important. We are an MSP. We focus on financial services companies, registered investment advisors as our vertical. We want to really lean into the IT and cybersecurity. Maybe, whoops, hold on. You will see I don't fix my typos most of the time because it's smart enough to understand. Maybe leaning into data privacy type of things because we can fix again because we can address that with our services. Please try again. We like numbered sub headlines and easy to consume fifth grade reading type of language. Like, don't make, you're not writing to me, the MSP, you are writing to my end user. I might not care. So lean into business impact wherever possible. Okay. So more context. It's still a blog writer because I told it earlier. Would anybody add anything else to this? I'm not proud. What else? What would you twist, stretch? How would you approach it differently? Yeah, Craig, go for it.
It's not really anything I would change, but I heard, and I've been doing this now, and it seems to help, is at the very end of this prompt, just remind it that it's a expert blog writer.
Perfect.
For some reason, that seems to help in the response.
Do you ever put like guardrails around length at all? Like so many words or 2,000 words, something like that?
I do sometimes. So sometimes I'll say, give me 1,500 words. If it really takes a sharp left turn or sharp right turn, then what I will do is say, I don't think we're synchronized here. Can you give me the outline? And then we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on the outline. And then I'll say, great, now write point 1. Now write point 2.
Yeah.
And I'm copying and pasting into a Word doc. Then when we're done, we go through all 4 points, paste it back in and say, okay, this is the blog, but it's a little bit rough. Can you smooth it out? Because we built it in a modular manner and I want it all to flow together, and add a really cool call to action to say, if you want us to come out and do your FINRA investigation pre whatever offer you have that ties to this, you can have it write that call to action too.
You gave me an idea.
Good. Good.
Rafi, what's the examination part of that? Is that like a company audit or a cybersecurity audit type of thing? Or are we talking
No,
about
it's the actual
certification exam?
coming in and doing the examination of the company. And it's usually over a course of a couple days or a week or whatever. And it's like,
Gotcha.
give us all the stuff. We'll be involved with it usually if it's a customer, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. So What RIAs need to know about FINRA and SEC exams and how IT can help you get ready. I'm gonna say that headline is a little more. I like sneakier headlines. Like, I don't even know if we need this. It might have not understood what I said. So let's see. If you're an RIA, you already know FINRA and SEC conduct regular exams. Do they know that? Or is that ChatGPT assuming that they know? Like, do your clients know that there are going to be regular exams?
Yeah.
Okay. What you might not know is how much of them now focus on technology, cybersecurity, and data privacy. Is that
That is
correct?
true. That is true.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That's where we come in as an MSP focused. Okay, it's good. I don't necessarily want it to be about me, the MSP. So this is much better. But to be clear, this blog isn't about us. It is about the client. Yes, we can help, but that is what happens behind the curtain. So I use a lot of analogies and a lot of like just explanations. Like that needs to be our little secret. You just have to communicate like, no, you're giving away the farm.
Yeah.
It needs to be a little more subtle than that.
Yeah. Right.
So then I'm just going to skim through. And Jeremy, I know you do a lot of numbers and letters. Like you've told it to always give it to you. You're getting away from that now?
It depends on what I'm doing.
Okay.
Sometimes I want it headered like a contract with sub items and sub items and etc. But I do make the point that this is only for editing reference, for easy editing, easy collaborative editing.
Yep. Okay, perfect.
Oh, so update this on A13, whatever, that kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
I
I'm
put
just
that
going
in
to
my
say,
standard personal settings or in the project instructions, actually.
I'm just saying we like number 2, 4, and 6. I don't know if those are
Mhm.
the right ones. This is just for illustration, but we want each numbered item to cover more depth while still talking in 5th grade language. Remove why it matters. And move all how we can help type of language to the very bottom as a CTA. We have a FINRA assessment. We have a FINRA readiness assessment. We can sell them. Rafi, I'm just making up an offer for you. Okay, so it's like, okay, it's going to focus entirely in the client's world. Yes, thank you. Clear business-oriented tone. Yes, please. More depth, because if you saw, like every one of these was really short, and every one of them is the same exact framework. So it's like one sentence, what they need to see, 3 bullets, why it matters, 1 line, how we help, 1.5. Every one of them is exactly the same framework. So let's see what it did now.
I have a
Okay.
question on this as we go.
Yeah, for sure.
Scott, you mentioned hallucinations. Is this one of the places where you notice a lot of hallucinations where it explains what it's about to do and then it gives you something completely different that
No, I
doesn't
didn't
actually
see
do
the
what it says it's going to do?
No, I didn't see the hallucination there. I saw a hallucination after I had developed some information and I asked it to do some blog graphics. That's when I started to see hallucination come in, but it wasn't in the words or the copy that it came up with, but it was more in the graphics that I think then it started to hallucinate and go back into past things on compliance, and that's where the legal came in on that.
And
Okay.
it's possible, I'd have to see the graphics that you were doing, but ChatGPT is great at text creation. It's really not great at graphics creation. So it could be that you're
Pretty rough.
using one tool to rule them all, and you might need more than one tool.
Right, and I was definitely trying it and just to see what it would do, and it did an okay job, but it really got lost in our logos, and so I think I just overwhelmed
Mhm.
it because it wasn't using the correct logo, and anyway, it was that's when it got confused, but it
Yes.
definitely was a good warning sign for me that I had pushed it a little hard, and definitely need to be sitting in there and monitoring it. And writing is rewriting too. So
Yes.
at some
Yes.
point, I'm going to be taking it out into a Word document and just rewriting it.
Yeah, let me make a note of two things. Robin, I saw your hand, but if I don't note these down, I'm going to forget. I want to go back and revisit graphics and give a couple of tips there. And then writing is rewriting. I want to talk about that as well. So I'll jot those down and I'll cover those in the next few minutes. Robin, what is your question, comment, challenge?
I'm trying to understand how you're getting people to read a blog. I mean, it amazes me that I don't have any friends or clients when I talk to them that respond back to me as well as ChatGPT does. It's focused, it's organized, it's amazingly responsive to me. However, I can't get anybody to read anything. So I'm searching for the process as Google becomes a ChatGPT type, Gemini respondent. It no longer is posting anything. So you're preparing blogs, and I don't know what the communication channel is. Now that starts the problem. Yesterday, I used ChatGPT to prepare a printer, a multifunction printer, short, eye-catching Facebook page. And you can go to my Facebook page, T. Robin Cole III, and you'll find that multifunction printer. And in 12 hours, it had 197 responses. Frankly, nobody ever responds to a damn thing that I post on Facebook that quick, that many. And so
Yeah. So there's a couple of different questions you brought up. One is I might not have captured this correctly, but one is like, if ChatGPT is the new Google, are blogs even important anymore to our content strategy? I think that's part of what you were asking. And
part of the strategy. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I do have an expert coming in. We're nailing down the date. It'll be in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And Todd is my marketing coach, and he had an AI company before AI was even really something that we had thought about. So he was very much a forward-leaning, beginning of the curve type of thing. He is specifically going to be talking about how to help you be the category of one in your community using content. Now, I don't know if that content is going to be blogs or social media or video or all the things, but hang tough because it's coming. It's coming like in the next 3, 4 weeks, and we can address it then. So does that at least answer some of your question?
To be a starting point.
Okay. Okay, good.
I'm lost in figuring out how to get people to read, to pay attention, whatever. And when you ask a kid a question, they'll answer 6, 7.
All right, so we're going to just keep going. Okay, that's great. Let's assume the above is our final version of the blog. You are now an expert traffic driving strategist. Give me 10 ways to drive traffic to this blog that we just wrote. Keep this a high level numbered list, not a novel, please. Because sometimes it just wants to over deliver, and I'm like, I don't want to read all that. Okay, so 10 high level ways to drive traffic to your Robin. Yours isn't going to be a FINRA log, but still good, right? So before we read the answer, because the answer is important, but for today, the point is prompting. I changed its role. I don't know what this person would be called in real life. So I just described it. You're an expert traffic driving strategist. Why is that their role? Because that's the problem I'm solving for. So it's kind of like, let's go back to our algebra days or our troubleshooting days. The outcome we're looking for is driving traffic. So I need a traffic driving strategist. I don't know. One of you might already know what they're called, and you're laughing because you're like, you could have just called them blank. I don't know what the blank is, so I just describe it. I just use words to illustrate what I'm trying to say. And then I'm like, I don't like, at this point, I want to make decisions fast. I don't want big, long blogs about everyone. Give me 10 ideas. Maybe 3 of them will work. So I said, I want high level, give it to me a numbered list. And then just in case it didn't understand that, I do not want a novel, right? So that's what we do. So send an email blast. If you've got an email list, that's great. Post on LinkedIn, cross post it to your blog. Turn the blog into a 3-part carousel. That is fantastic because Robin, you just said your audience is, they're leaning into graphical stuff. So maybe a carousel is an option for you. If you don't know what a carousel is, you could then say, I don't know what a carousel is. Can you
I,
tell
I,
me?
I didn't think you were going to answer my question. You got 10 answers on here already.
Yeah. Pitch it to industry newsletter. So all we said is like, we have a problem. How can we use AI to either solve it or give me ideas on how to solve it? Because I'm smart, I can filter this, right? So like Rafi might be like, I am not adding a call to action blog, a call to action on my website. But he might be like, oh, I have an association. I was like, what could I do? How could I add value to them? Maybe instead of posting this on my website, I'll go to them. Some of you are like, I'm not doing paid LinkedIn ads. That doesn't work. That's why I asked for 10. Because chances are if I ask for 10, 2 or 3 are going to work for me. Okay, let's shift in a little bit of a different direction. Jeremy, were you about to say something?
I do have something for this.
Okay, good.
If we go back to the question here, I just wanted to call out or to the last prompt. I mean, there we go. So we've got a role right there, and then we've got the problem to be solved or the instruction. Sometimes including background, like the why, going a bit higher level, like we're trying to accomplish overall this thing, that
Yes.
thing. We don't want to accomplish these things, like putting some
Yes.
requirements in extra
Yep.
guardrails.
Yes.
That can be really helpful. I love leaving it like this until I'm not getting the answers that I want. And then I go back and say, tell you what, here's the reason we're doing this. Let's refine based on that.
Yes. That
And there's one other,
rationale. Yep, that
yeah,
rationale and back and forth is super helpful. Sorry, go ahead. You said
yeah.
one more thing.
You're now an expert traffic driving strategist. Um, I would tend to try and figure out the title of that person and saying you're an expert SEO. A lot of these are not SEO. Like these are much broader than that. And so I'm getting better answers from this kind of prompt, or Jennifer's getting better answers from this kind of prompt than I would have if I had assumed what that role was really specifically. So
Yes.
it's really great using just I'm dumb, teach me sort of
Yes.
attitude with this stuff. And then who are the 6 top authors in the field of?
Yes.
Give me the names. I love starting a conversation with that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
who are the
like that.
top 6 authors in driving traffic?
Yep.
Okay, be them. Now let's
Right.
play.
Yes, all great tips. I appreciate that, Jeremy. So some of you might be like, I'm posting blogs and I'm not getting visitors. Others of you might be like, I'm
Hmm.
posting blogs, I'm getting visitors, but they don't do anything. Like I can't take visitors to the bank. So then you would be like, okay, we just posted this blog. Let's assume we posted this blog and we're getting visitors. How could we optimize the blog so that we would get phone calls, form fills on our website, or should we drive it to a lead magnet? I don't have that lead magnet. Can you write the lead magnet? So understand, I'm asking you not to work in a silo. The goal isn't, I'm going to launch a blog and check it off my list. No, that blog has a job in your marketing ecosystem. So is it to get people to your website simply so you can cookie them and remarket to them with your Facebook ads? Is it, Craig, I know I think you're leaning into LinkedIn. So maybe you want to say, we're really leaning into LinkedIn. Why don't you write a call to action that says, if this is the kind of content you like, you might want to follow me on LinkedIn, and you just have a LinkedIn. This is how you start to grow your ecosystem, because we're using one piece of content and kind of saying, where's the bottleneck that happens? after people see this piece of content. And Robin, for you, the bottleneck is people aren't even seeing it. So let's solve that problem, but then let's get them to see it. Let's get them to take action, whether that's a download or requesting an audit or follow you on LinkedIn. And by the way, every blog post can have different call to actions. So you don't have to repeat the same one over and over again. So, okay, that's blog posts. I'm going to table us unless there's another question about blog posts.
Jennifer, just a comment, and I don't mean to squirrel, but maybe this will help Rob and answer his question is, one of the things that I try to use is I try to make my blog post the center hub of a lot of my communications. And then in our website, we've got a tool. It's not, I can't remember the exact name of the tool we use, but there's another one called Hootsuite, which then pushes blog posts out to Facebook. You know, you can name whatever social media, and then I use email. But that tool of Hootsuite really just helps me broaden it in a really broad and general way. And then now I'm walking, and then now as I start to run, I'll be developing specific content for LinkedIn and more specific content to, just for Facebook.
Okay.
So just, if you can get a tool that'll take your blogs and push it out to some of the social media, that's a quick cheat that gets you walking while you're trying to run.
Yes, and let's play with that a little bit. So we're gonna use that as a jumping off point. You're a marketing strategist who is amazing at repurposing content. We're an MSP and we write a blog monthly. This month's blog is around, somebody give me a different topic.
Compliance.
And a bit of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt around the worst case scenarios. I'd like you to apply the hub and spoke methodology, which it might not know what I mean. So you're going to see, I'm going to explain it, where the blog is the central hub. Your job is to suggest at least 25 ways I can repurpose this blog. The spokes equals the repurposing, such as email my list, pull out pertinent quotes and make them into graphics for social media, etc. I am saying, please think with me. I just created this blog, or I paid for this blog, and I'm like excited. I think it's actually a really good blog. It might be the best blog all year. I now want to use this every month in a different way for the next 12 months, kind of like a cascade, a waterfall effect. So to Jeremy's point, I kind of described you're a marketing strategist, but more than just a marketing strategist, you are really good at repurposing content. We're an MSP. We write a blog monthly. So I'm telling it, our audience, who our audience is, who serves MSP or who serves SMBs. And I'm telling it we write a blog monthly because I'm hoping that clue will tell it, oh, you're looking for things you can do over and over and over again, as opposed to a one-time thing. So I'm trying to build a system around that. I could also have written, I want to build a system. A little bit of like just something for it to chomp its teeth into. Help me apply the hub and spoke methodology where the blog is the hub. Your job is, okay, anything you tweak here. Anybody? You can talk. You can unmute and talk. You don't have to drop it in the chat. We're a small enough group. Okay.
Yes, I mentioned asking it to refer to what would an expert advise. Who would we identify as a blog writing marketing expert that we could say, what advice would they give?
I like it. Okay, I'm gonna let it finish because I don't, again, if I start typing it has a very strong chance of glitching. Right, so I like that it's putting it into categories. Like, okay, cool. I could email my list, every other month for the next 10 months about this. I could put something on social media 10 times, I think is what that adds up to. I could, oh, I don't do video and audio. That's a pain. Let's just scratch those out. Right? I like the categories. Okay, these are amazing ideas. I'm a pretty visual learner. Can you suggest other companies, ideally in the IT industry, who do things like this? Think of MSPs, MSSPs, vendors, influencers, etc. Let's just see what it comes up with. We're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. Okay, it's searching Reddit. I love that. So this goes back to one of you said, teach me to think like you. That is really what this is. Like, I need to see somebody doing this. So let's just see what it said. I haven't screened this. Have never even really done this before. Rapid7, they have a security fundamentals glossary. Repurposing tactics, they turn it into downloadable mini guides. They have micro posts, term of the week. Rafi, rule of the week, check your files to make sure, blah, 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 whatever. Audio definitions, glossary quiz. So this is like, this company has this what people would call pillar content. So we're using a blog as if it's a pillar content. And then it's giving us probably more ideas than what it did up above. So note how MSP 360 interlinks. They use part of this blog to point to this blog. And so they're creating not just their own web, but they're cross-linking their web to itself. I don't do that on my site. Anybody do that with your blogs today? Relatively easy to do if you've got kind of 3 or 4 content pillars. You're like, oh, and if you really like this, go back and read our blog from last June. Here's a link. That type of thing. Robin, this was kind of a pivot on yours. You said, show me experts. And I'm like, cool, let me just play with it, see what it'll do. Pronto marketing, they've got guides. A lot of you use Pronto MSP, use their style. This is very cool because this is truly repurposing. They probably start with the video if we're looking at their workflow, but they publish a case study, then later they publish a video, then later they push it to social, and then they create a blog cluster out of it. So that just gives you ideas for how to take a single piece of content. I always say squeeze more juice out of the orange. Like, you just did 90% of the heavy lifting by creating the blog. How can we reuse and repurpose this to lighten our marketing load? All right, going to who here is using ChatGPT, Claude, okay, Copilot, just for writing, information gathering. Okay, cool. All right, good. Catching up on some of those. All right. What could we have changed in this prompt to make it even better? Ideas? It's already perfect. I'll take that too.
I'm going to look outside the IT industry. If I'm looking for sophistication in something, I want to find the industry that's the most sophisticated in that area. So if I'm doing marketing stuff, I'm probably going to be looking in the marketing industry to find the most recent cutting edge ideas rather than the IT industry for that.
You name the top 3 industries and
Interesting.
the top 3 influencers or companies under each industry. Why did you say interesting, Jeremy? Did I go a different direction?
I wouldn't have said the top 3 industries. I wouldn't have gone that broad with it. That's
Oh,
cool.
what would you have said?
I would have just gone straight to the influencers. I would have assumed I knew what industry it would, like, obviously it's going to be the marketing industry.
Okay.
So I like you asking it instead of
Okay.
assuming.
Cool. Anybody else want to tweak this a little bit? Because I'm curious what it will say. that they have to help me see. And I do a lot of this like capitalization, like to really emphasize my point. I don't really know if it matters, but it makes me feel better. I haven't like split tested it to see. Okay.
It depends on the model, but I have found it to matter in some models.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've got some graphics, which is cool. SaaS software MarTech. That's an interesting, I guess that is technically an industry. Financial services, fintech, personal finance, health and wellness, healthcare wellness. Jeremy, there is no marketing on here at all.
Well,
Yep.
MarTech is, I guess.
Yeah, okay, marketing tech. Yeah,
Close enough.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. And then it goes into like, here's the infographics, state of marketing, state of sale, whatever. So, okay, cool. This is interesting. Dave Ramsey's team, their core things are blogs, books, podcasts. I know some of you have books. Did we just publish a book and then we're done? Or did we maybe feed it into a secure AI session and say, find my frameworks, find my potential infographics, find me some memes. I like memes. Memes are fun marketing. So
20% content creation, 80% content promotion, right?
yes, yes. I like it. Cool. All right. Is there anybody willing to say they've created something on it with AI that was less than ideal? And we'll play with that next. Yeah, Jeremy.
All of it? I
All
don't
of it?
know.
It's so interesting. So I mentioned Todd a few minutes ago. I meant to go out and look at his Facebook page from about a week ago. I think it was on a Friday. It was like right before the weekend. And he said, I just spent, I'm making up the numbers, but you'll get the idea, 2.5 hours, and I created 50 social media posts. However, the first hour and a half of that time was me fighting and wrestling with the AI to get the tone right, to understand what I wanted. And so he's like, it took me an hour and a half to write one social media post, and then it took me 30 minutes to write the next 50. So don't be so when I say iterate, it's not always like 3 conversations. Sometimes you really got to wrestle with it and go, no, that is still not my tone. I said sarcastic. That's almost rude. Whatever. You got to really play with tone, output. No, my clients and prospects are not going to lean into that because it's going to make them feel insulted. And this is when you have to step back and go, why don't I like that? Why something's not right, and stop and say what isn't right, because it thinks it answered your question. It did answer your question. You just need to refine the question. Okay. What about, oh, go ahead, Craig. I see your hand.
Just around that. So you spend an hour and a half fine tuning and getting the information that you want, and then after that, it's clear sailing, right?
Yep.
How do you take that hour and a half's worth of fine tuning your prompt to be able to use it over and over again later on? Like,
Yes.
what was that final distilled version of the prompt, and how do you save that and know that that's going to work for you the next time?
Yep. Okay. A couple of answers to that. I paused my audio. I meant to pause my screen share. I do know how to use technology. I'm looking for one of my conversations. By the way, let me unshare, reshare rather. I use ChatGPT all of the time. I use it a lot, a lot, a lot. So I'm looking for, let me just.
So I can see, I've got all my saved chats, but I can't even imagine like an hour and a half long fine tuning how many lines that is, and then what was finally the very end result that got what I wanted. Was it just that last 3 or 4 lines that I typed in, or was it all of the combination of all the stuff that I went through?
So I wish I could find a really long a long example of this. Let's just pretend like this was long. It's not. It's really very short. So I'm going to say, wow, that tone is perfect. And I might say, I know we had to go back and forth, back and forth. How, actually, let me phrase this differently. Pretend you wanted to teach a ghost writer to write in exactly this tone. How would you instruct that ghost writer? Okay, so pretend like there's been an hour and a half, and now we're like, we finally got it, and we just did 20 posts in a row, and they're 95% there. You're like, teach me, Obi-Wan, not Obi-Wan, whatever, teach me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and be like, I was just kidding. This isn't my tone after all, whatever. But it is confident coach meets high performing, high converting copywriter, which that actually is. And some of this is because I have tuned my custom GPT. But now
Okay.
you can take this and copy it and create a custom GPT out of it. Have you created any custom GPTs?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so
I don't mean if this is distracting you from the topic, I don't mean that.
you're fine. I just always have to, I struggle to find it. I thought it was in the upper right-hand corner. New chat. Oh, up here. It's right here. No, it's not.
There are a few places. What are you looking for, Jennifer?
Creating a custom GPT. I
Oh, so expand the left sidebar, and then yeah, um, they moved some things, but GPTs is about the sixth option. There you go, and then you can. There we go.
create. Okay, you used to just have a head and
Mhm.
shoulder in the upper right-hand corner and do that.
Right.
Okay.
So you'll create a custom GPT. You'll name this, and so it would be like I would probably do like Craig's brand voice. I'm copying and pasting those ghostwriter instructions here. I'm making
Okay.
sure there's nothing at the top that says, here is what, la, la, la. It's great. I think it's fantastic. And then I say create.
Okay.
And now everything it creates for me is going to be whatever it just, for me, it's going to be this. For you, it's going to be a little bit different. It might be analytical.
Mm.
So that's what you do. You're like, I really love this output. Pretend you're training my ghostwriter. How would you tell them to sound like Craig? Cool. Now I have my
Okay.
instructions for a custom GPT. You could call it Craig's brand voice, Craig's ghostwriter, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have a ton of custom GPTs. I have a couple of different brand brains. I've got the MSP Marketing Codex bot. So for those of you who are in the MSP Transformation Machine program, you've got this. It actually troubleshoots your entire marketing ecosystem. It's fantastic. I've got this one. We'll talk about this briefly because we were going to talk about graphics. This helps me create. This is by Jonathan Mast. He's an AI influencer. This helps me create a description that I can copy and paste into Midjourney, Flux, Laura, Creo. Like, what are you guys? Are you using anything for image creation?
Midjourney and
Midjourney, okay.
ideogram. Hmm.
Ideogram, that's on my list to play with this week. Okay. I use I want to try banana
Oh yeah, Nano Banana.
Nana Banana. I'm going to try Nana
I used that
Banana.
a couple times. It was fun.
Yeah. So that's this, I just say I really want a picture that looks like this, but I don't know how to describe it. Write it for me. I'm really bad at the beginning of social media posts. You want a hook, it's just designed to pull people in and stop the scroll. I'm not particularly good at creating them. So what I did is I studied it. I didn't really study it. ChatGPT studied it for me. And I said, great. If I wanted to create good hooks, what would I do? And then I pasted those instructions and I have a custom GPT. I'm playing with this one. This is this is very meta. This is a custom GPT to help me write custom GPTs. It's not ready yet, or I would share it with all of you. Because a lot of people are using custom GPTs as team members. So I need to write a post. I'm going to go to my idea GPT. Then I'm going to go to my hook GPT. Then I'm going to go to my write a post for me GPT. So that's just one way that you can chain them together. So, and then somebody said something about rewriting. I don't know that I have a good example on this, but Dr. Benjamin Hardy says anything that is done to about the 80% mark by someone else on my team is 100% okay with me. I think he actually says it 80% done by someone else is 100% okay with me. And so I look at this as if it can get close to my tone and it still has emojis in it, I'm capable of deleting the 12 emojis that are in the post if I don't want emojis. If it is 80% or even 90% close, and I'm just going to meddle and rearrange and polish, I'm good with that because I don't want to start with a blank page. So that is how I use AI, is for ideas and for, I don't want to start with a blank page. So how many of you have a list of SOPs or policies that you need to create right now on a whiteboard or a mental list? Okay, Craig, give me one.
So we have, oh man, there's so many of them. So, most of them are technical. I don't have, like migration SOPs or, infrastructure stuff.
What are you trying to migrate?
So, like I've created a couple of them. We're in the process of migrating some Dell switches to Cisco Catalyst switches, and it works great. I mean, it's given me like timelines and step by steps. Of course, there's some hallucinations in there, and so we clean them up. But something that would take me 3 or 4 hours to put together, I can do in like maybe 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the other.
So because I'm just framing this, create a checklist style SOP to help us do this systematically across all locations. Use the standard IT ITIL framework. I don't even know if that really applies to SOPs. Sorry, guys. And make this organized, clear, and I stole this term, unable to misunderstand. Like I want it crystal clear. I want to be able to go, how did you miss step 3? It says step 3, slide the to red. Like I want it crystal clear. So make these unable to misunderstand. Anything else you want me to add?
Well, what I ended up doing with mine after I got through it, I had to create a timeline in Microsoft Planner project,
Okay.
and also it created a spreadsheet. So then I could sort of compare each one. But
Great.
it's really great. And then I share that with my engineers, and then my engineers can go through and fine tune any hallucinations that are in there. And then now we've got it, in a fraction of the time.
And you can use Copilot with Microsoft Project. So I'm saying
Yes.
also create a prompt for me to drop into Microsoft Project to create a timeline or Gantt chart. I think it's 2 T's in Gantt.
There you go.
So now this is just my whole project is all about migrating this to this. By the way, and of course, it's going to ask clarifying questions. I'm just going to say this. Let's skip the questions, assume best in class answers because I don't feel like going back and forth. But you can, like you can say, oh, that's a really great question, whatever. So here is another thing that you can do. And this is getting a little bit away from prompting, but while it's busy working, I'll throw this to you. You can take Microsoft's documentation or Kaseya's documentation, like all those PDFs that your team doesn't tend to look at, and drop it into whatever tool, it could be ChatGPT, and you're like, can you synthesize this down to the 20% that makes 80% of the difference? And it'll recycle it in such a way that maybe your team members will use. Or you can drop it into a tool called Notebook LM, and it queries all the stuff, and now you can ask it questions. Hey, somewhere in there was something about Windows 11 and some weird thing about if it's Windows 11 but it's in the cloud. Can you find that? It'll find it in 2 seconds.
I've actually started experimenting with, we use IT Glue for documentation. So I've been exporting some of the IT Glue articles and putting them into a SharePoint folder, and then using Copilot to find stuff, because our articles are scattered around customer to customer and all that stuff. But if everything's in one place, it's a lot. It works so much better than the IT Glue searching.
Yes.
In the end, but it's a lot of work to like uplift all that stuff. But it's potentially a project that we may do next year.
I talked to someone a couple weeks ago. What they did is they took the documentation, dropped it into their favorite AI tool. I don't remember which one. Said, my team doesn't like to read 400 PDFs. Create scripts for this. And then they uploaded the script into HeyGen. I think HeyGen is the video one and 11 Labs is the voice one. They uploaded it into HeyGen, and now they have a person teaching from the PDFs, but the PDFs got converted to a script that the AI avatar is now doing in video format. So, and it was a weekend project and it's done. Without using APIs and stuff, you guys could probably do it faster using APIs. So let's just see. Service strategy, plan and define, service design, document and prepare, service transition. So you could go back in and be like, unpack number 5 in greater detail. And then here's your Microsoft project Gantt chart. And obviously it's referring back up. So if we change things earlier, it won't be reflected here. But this is at least a really, and do you want to build a RACI matrix, which is just fantastic. So this is, again, don't start with a blank slate. You could also upload 4 or 5 SOPs and say, please study these and consume these. This is how we like to write our SOPs. Let me know. And now that you know that, use this to write the one to help me convert, migrate Dell switches to Cisco Catalyst switches. So you're just teaching it, excuse me, you're teaching it, this is what we like our SOPs to look like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. What else? I'm scanning. Project name. I can't read that. It's too small. Projects.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying the new projects button inside ChatGPT lets you build a project library in CGPT.
Let me just see who all we have on here. Okay. I'm gonna share a little bit of the back end because all of you guys are in the AI monetization launchpad, and this is going to illustrate projects in ChatGPT. So this is my AI monetization. So when I open up this project, come on, ignore that it says SaaS. That was an earlier iteration. We are not doing SaaS. I'm happy to tell you why, but Jeremy can tell you why. Okay, why it's really getting glitchy. Give me a second. I really want to show you this project. See all. Please. All right. I always get nervous when you're doing like a live share of the screen and then everything goes black. Okay, so I can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. All of this is like, here's what I'm thinking for module 1. Here's what I'm thinking about this. Here's a question that someone asked and I don't understand what they're asking. What are they asking? Please help me. Like everything is in here, and I've uploaded, oh, I can get to it. I uploaded all of my scripts, my PDFs, the worksheets, synopsis of the curriculum. Like it knows everything about this project. And then I can say, hey, I just presented, and you guys, some of you are in different cohorts, so there's different orders to things. Don't let that confuse you. That's not the point. But I can say, hey, here's my script. Here's the resources I gave them, but they're still asking me this. Where's the gap? Help me to see the gap because I thought I was clear and I wasn't. Because if I was clear, they wouldn't be asking. And it is so good at saying, well, you didn't tell him this, you big dummy. It doesn't say the big dummy part, but it is, that's how sometimes it feels. I'm like, oh, you're right. I didn't. Oh my goodness, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm sorry. And then I'll slide extra resources in or bring extra people in. So the projects are amazing inside of ChatGPT. Okay, I know we're at time. If you need to bounce, bounce. We're going to get this posted. If you're in Circle, we're going to get it posted to Circle, but we're also going to post it out to YouTube because more people need to see how to prompt and how to iterate and see how AI it really is amazing, especially the haters that are out there. So I'm not going to tag anyone, but if you know of AI haters, feel free to send them my video. Totally fine. And if you're watching the replay, and you're like, what is this AI monetization launchpad that Jennifer's talking about? Go to mspsalesrevolution.com/waitlist and we'll get you waitlisted for the January cohort or future cohort of the launchpad. I'm going to stay for a few more minutes. My time is yours. If you've got additional questions, I'm here. If you need to bounce, feel free to bounce. Zero judgment. Any other questions, queries, concerns? Anybody? Going once? You're
I have a
good.
question.
Okay, who said that?
With Brian.
Okay, cool. Go for it, Brian.
The projects versus custom GPTs. I missed that link or
Yes.
that connection.
Okay. Custom GPTs, look at them like a specialist for a single piece of your business. So, like almost look at it like an employee as opposed, or a piece of an employee as opposed to a project. Think of it like a file folder. So like the project might be your webinar strategy. And so inside of that project is, I'm thinking about doing this. What tools should I use? What should my 3 main points be? How do I make sure that the webinar drives directly to this? And then now I just had a webinar. Here's my numbers. Which one should I be focused on improving for next time? And so it's the projects are more like bigger projects.
Right.
It's like define the term without using the term. Whereas a custom GPT is, its job is to do a micro task.
So one thing I find is things kind of fall out of a GPT, right? You put in 10 or 15 documents and you talk about it and all of a sudden it forgets number one.
Yes.
If you made projects and put each one in, would it remember all of them?
Yes. Yes, it will.
Okay.
And I know you're driving, so inside of like my project for AI monetization launchpad, I have, I think 9. I forgot the number already, but I have 9-ish documents that are there. Yeah, 9 files that are there. It should look at them, but I can also remind them that they're there. So I can say, give me a webinar idea based on the document called Brian's 2025 webinar brainstorming document. So you can point, so they're there for reference. It should reference it before it answers you. But if you know, whoa, it's kind of like, again, if you're asking a team member, before you give me an idea, make sure you pass it through this filter. That's how you can kind of use projects.
Or look at this notebook full of SOPs before you. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Right.
Or you could upload lessons learned and be like, hey, can you scan the last 12 lessons learned and tell me the mistakes we keep making over and over again? Maybe I'm the only one that does that. But that is a great use case for AI because it's great at pattern matching. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So there you go. That was
That's
that earned.
that really is helpful too, because it gives me a different way to look at something. What you just reminded me of something else that I started working on is extracting tickets from Autotask. So we can run a report that have like all the tickets for a customer in the past 30 days or however long. And it creates a spreadsheet and it's got all of our ticket notes and how much time we spent. And I'm putting that into ChatGPT so that it can run through and try to find those things like you're talking about. Like how many times have we had to reset a password for people, or how many times have we, had to do this to try to give us some analytics around, SLAs and performance that I really can't get out of Autotask otherwise.
Yes.
And if I do it into like a project, I can just dump all those spreadsheets into that project folder, and it knows to stay. Then that way I don't have that problem like Brian was saying. If you're just doing it through a chat, it's going to forget some of your documents, right? So if you put them all inside that project, it'll make it stay together.
Yep. And you're using Copilot for security, for stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that you said spurred a thought that I have lost. So, okay, good. Anybody else? You guys are still here. Again, my time is your time, so it's fine. Question.
A follow-up question.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier a secure AI session. Now, Copilot's supposed to not farm your stuff out, but is there a more secure AI?
I don't know of a more secure AI. AI at its core is designed to learn from your stuff. So like if you're looking for security, I would stick with Copilot, or consider spinning up your own large language model. You can host Claude or ChatGPT or whatever on your own server. And from what I understand, it's about $900 to spin up a private large language model. And you get all of the power of the tools, but your data doesn't go out of your network. That is probably all that I know about it. So Copilot, good. Private large language model, good, hosted on your own server. We do have people in the marketplace, the AI provider marketplace, that will build large language models self-hosted. And there's one that talks about a small language model, and I don't know what that is. So I need to do more research on that if I get there. So.
And isn't it, if you go to the like the business model of ChatGPT or the enterprise model, that it doesn't put your information into the public database?
Teams.
Are we talking about API training?
No.
Like API calls don't train the model?
No, I think he's talking about if you upgrade to Teams ChatGPT or Enterprise ChatGPT, it will not use your data to train its model.
Yeah, not even in the chats, the regular chats with the UI on it.
Yep.
Yeah, they call it ChatGPT Business now. They stopped calling it Teams.
That's right. It depends. You're right. They are making the transition. I think they're taking a page from Meta, where everybody isn't seeing the same thing. Some people are still seeing Teams, but a lot of people are seeing Business. You're right. They're probably going to Business for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Copilot for Business is the same.
As far as not training their model on your data?
Right.
Yes, you're correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, there's 1,400 different security paths in Azure for Copilot now. So
yes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. All the security that is around Copilot is based on your 365 security settings.
Right. Which can be really good or not.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, great. Any last questions? All right.
Love the purple hair.
Thank you. I don't promise to do this every time, but maybe we'll do another Prompt-A-Palooza in a quarter and just continue to, we'll iterate and get better and have fun. So have a great
I think
rest
that's
of the day.
AI generated.
It isn't, but she might be coming soon. Maybe, maybe. All right, we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Take care.
You guys.
Bye.
Bye.